Mr. President, it was about 10 years ago that I received a call to my office in Chicago from a Korean-American mother who was concerned about her daughter. Her daughter had been brought to the United States at the age of 2, had grown up in the United States, all her brothers and sisters born here as well, and her daughter had been accepted on a music scholarship. Turns out she was an extraordinarily talented concert pianist. And she was graduating from high school and had been accepted at Juilliard School of Music and the Manhattan Observatory School of Music. And in filling out the application, there was a question about her daughter's citizenship. Since she brought her daughter here on a visitor's visa at the age of 2 and never filed any papers, she wanted to know her daughter's status. Well, it turns out her daughter's status was very clear. She was undocumented. And the law was also very clear that this 18-year-old girl who had lived here for 16 years was told she had to leave America. There was no recourse. And she wasn't even being sent back to Korea because the family had transited from Korea to Brazil to the United States. They wanted to ship her to Brazil, a country she was not even aware of, and a language she didn't speak, Portuguese. In that situation, her mother said, "What can we do?" And I checked with the law, and it turned out there was no place to turn. Her daughter was without a country. That's when I introduced the DREAM Act. And the DREAM Act is legislation which says, if you came to the United States as a child, if you've been a long-term resident of the United States, you have good moral character, and you graduate from high school, we'll give you 2 chances to become legal in America. You can either enlist in our military, or you can finish at least 2 years of college. That was 10 years ago, Mr. President. I'm still working to pass that legislation. And over the period of time that I've worked on it, I've met hundreds, maybe more, of people just like that young girl I just described. They are young people who have that kind of exciting look in their eyes that they want to be part of this world. Most of them are college students or college graduates, but they can't make the first move toward the life that they want to live because they are undocumented. And that's why I continue to come to the floor of the Senate each week and tell their stories, urging my colleagues on both sides of the aisle that in the name of justice, give these kids a chance. We have a pretty basic principle in America. We don't hold kids responsible for the wrongdoing of their parents. We tell kids, you're responsible for your own life. Do the right thing. Go to school. Don't get in trouble. Study. Aspire to greatness. Go to college. And they do. And these kids do too. But they have an obstacle that most children in America don't have. They have no country. Senator Menendez of New Jersey, my friend and colleague, had a great statement on the floor, and I've used it many times. I credited you the first time, but I'll credit you again because you're here. He tells of these young people getting up every day in a classroom, putting their hands to their heart and pledging allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, going to events where they sing along with the only national anthem they know, and in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of America, they are not part of us. They are somewhere in the middle. Is that right? Is it fair? Is it a standard that we want to establish in this country when it comes to justice? I don't think so. We need these young people. They're not only bright and energetic, they can become tomorrow's leaders in our military. That's why Secretary Robert Gates, who's retiring this month as Department of Defense Secretary, supports this legislation. That's why so many others have stepped up in both political parties and said, this is a smart thing to do. Give these young people a chance to prove themselves. Just had a discussion in my office about H-1B visas. These are visas that we offer to foreigners, people who weren't born in the United States, to come here and work because we need their talent pool to be part of an expanding American economy. What about the talent pool of these DREAM Act students? As I've told their stories on the floor, these are students who are extraordinary: chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, teachers, aspiring attorneys, but they can't do any of those things because they have no citizenship status in America. I want to share the story of two of them. I know that Senator Menendez is on the floor, and this won't take long. The first is Diana Banda. This is her photo. Diana was brought to the United States in 1993 at the age of 3. She grew up in Oregon and dreamed of being a first responder. She volunteered with the American Red Cross and her community emergency response team. During her senior year in high school, Diana was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Thankfully, after a long, long struggle, she is cancer-free. After her recovery, Diana is more determined than ever to pursue her dream. She is enrolled in firefighting and paramedic program at the community college in Salem, Oregon. And Mr. President, for the record, these students qualify for no federal assistance. When they go to college, they pay for it out of their pockets. They sacrifice more than many students because they're determined to get an education. Diana sent me a letter, and this is what she said about her dreams for the future. Although I love Mexico because it's the place I was born, I could not pack my things and move back to a place I know nothing about. A place I only know through old baby pictures and family stories. America is my home, Diana says. This is the place I love, where everyone and everything I know is. I know nothing outside the United States. Whatever punishment I must pay, I am willing to do. All I ask for is a chance. Better yet, I beg for a chance to prove that I'm not a criminal, that I have much to offer this beautiful country. So should we deport Diana Banda, a cancer survivor, a future paramedic, back to Mexico, a country she left behind when she was just a toddler? Should we accept her invitation to punish her? For what? For being part of a family that brought her here at the age of 3? It wasn't her decision. It was her parents' decision. Rightly or wrongly, she's here in the United States. And when you look at this photo and realize that she could be part of our future, you realize what the DREAM Act is all about. Let me introduce to you another dreamer. This is Manji Dolan. Manji's parents brought him here from Bangladesh in 1991 at the age of 5. As he grew up in his new home, Manji immersed himself in the study of computers and technology. Manji wrote me a letter and said as follows: "For as long as I can remember, I've had an intense passion for technology. In middle school, that passion led to spending many nights constructing remote-controlled model airplanes and Van de Graaff generators. In high school, I fell in love with computers and the internet, spending my senior year creating an online newspaper for my school." Manji didn't know about his immigration status until he started applying for colleges. He asked for his parents what he should say in terms of his immigration status, and that's when he learned that he was undocumented. In 2008, Manji graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, an outstanding school. And again, let me put in the record, these students who graduate from college do it facing sacrifices many students don't. They get no federal assistance, none. Manji's prospects are limited. Even though he graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, an outstanding school, and he's being courted by the technology industry, they want to hire this bright young man. He's even been offered a job as a lead engineer for a startup company in Silicon Valley. Manji's prospects, of course, are constricted because of his immigration status. The DREAM Act would give him a chance to pursue his dreams and contribute his talent to the only country he's ever called home. Here's what he told me: "I've turned down several great job offers from reputable companies because of my status. The DREAM Act would let me take my passion for technology to the next level by allowing me to move to Silicon Valley and pursue my dream as an internet entrepreneur." Mr. President, when you look at some of the most amazing technology in America today, you will find that many, many times it is a product of immigrants who came to this country and created companies that employ thousands of people. I don't know if Manji would be one of those persons. I think he deserves a chance. Would America be better off if we sent him back to Bangladesh, a country he hasn't been to in 20 years? Of course not. There's so much discussion in the day about America's economic future in the 21st century. Every year, with all those H-1B visas, we bring in talented people from overseas, while at the same time, our laws banish these talented people that I've just talked about back to countries they never have known of as they've grown up. We could use people with Manji's talents in America. We can use him in technology, as we can use Diana in the field of medicine. I first introduced this bill 10 years ago. Since then, I have met so many immigrant students who would qualify. Like Diana Banda and Manji Dolan, they're really Americans at heart. They're willing to serve our country, even risk their lives for our country, if we would just give them a chance. I urge my colleagues in this political town, this partisan town, on this issue, let's put it aside. Let's support basic justice and fairness. Let's give these kids a chance. I'm willing to stake my reputation as a United States Senator on the fact that America will be a better place when the DREAM Act becomes law.